Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. This is Gray's Guitars. Today I'm holding a bass. Why am I holding a bass? Because I'm going to teach you how to play bass for any pop song currently. This can apply to certain rap songs, not all of them. Some of the older stuff is a little bit more complex. But sorry about the wide-angle view and my crap on that side and that side. Had to do the wide-angle view because this Epiphone Thunderbird bass is long. But you don't need an Epiphone Thunderbird bass. Technically, you can just go to whatever garage sale you want, pick yourself the cheapest bass possible, get yourself a cheap, crappy amp. It doesn't really matter what it sounds like. The point of this is to get as much bass as possible. So, tuning-wise, we don't even need these three strings. 1, 2, 3, yup, I don't even know the names of them. Who cares? I don't need them. The only string I care about is this. My low-fat E string. In some cases, you want to turn it down to drop a D, but in this case, we're just going to use this particular string and keep it on E. Regular plain old E. You can do E flat, you can do drop D, you can drop it way down as much as you want. These little knobby doohickeys, not really sure what they do. I think this one controls this pickup. We didn't care about this pickup. This is tone, we don't need any of that, so just nope, we don't need any of that. Bass amp wise, you're going to want your volume at 10. You're going to want your bass at 10. If you have a treble knob, put that at like a 1 or 2, like just enough so the amp turns on, but we don't really need that either. So we're going to start off low. We're going to use this volume control right here for this pickup. And we're just going to start off nice and low. Maybe put it up to like a 5 because you don't want it to shake yet. You want to build up to the shaky rattliness of the bass. So let's just start off with something simple. Let's do WAP, for instance. So I'm going to do the bass line to WAP here. And that's it. That's all you need to know. End of video. So what I'm doing here is we're just doing open 2, 3. You can sing along to it. Hoes in this house, some hoes in this house, some hoes in this house. And then when you get to kind of like the chorus part where they're talking about smacking that, on the floor. I'm not going to say it because of demonetization. Then we just crank this bad boy up to 10 and vibrate the shit out of everything. And you can shake it around a little bit. Let that ring out. Sustain, what's that? Who knows? I don't care. I'm just going to let that note ring out. And that's all you need to know. If you want to do some other pop songs, you're not going to go past the 7th fret here. So you can do some other nice little bass lines beside that, like... And this is only if you have an actual bass. A lot of this is all synthesized now. There's not an actual bass present. It's just a bass note that they're hitting on a keyboard. But basically, all you need is open E. So, I mean, if you just mute the other strings if you have a bass, or better yet, you can cut them all off. But all you really got to do is this. Just bob your head. Analog music. And I'm doing some light slapping, basically just smack it. Little smack that string, and then you can get that in there. You can do a little popping too, a little. If you don't have calluses on your fingers, you may want to use a guitar pick. And these are guitar picks. They don't really specifically make bass picks because you're supposed to be doing some cool little jams with your bass, Let's crank the tone up. Let's see what that sounds like. that's if you want to get into like some really complicated stuff. Otherwise, instead of doing that with your fingers or your thumb, just get yourself a little guitar pick, and you can do something like. And that's basically as complicated as that's going to get. The gist of it is going to be your open note. Because it's not really about the tone or the complexity of it, it's more about feeling the actual bass of it. So that's why you crank everything up to 10, you turn the tone down, because you want to feel those vibrations, you want to get all those things tingling, and you want to pop out your eardrums and basically drive the speaker to the point where you potentially may or may not blow it out. That's the gist of how to play bass on most of these newer songs. You know, most of them, they're not like more than like a 2 or 3 note little trill. You know, you can do like 1-3 or 1-3-5 here. But you got to understand, you don't want to make this too complex, because this, as I said, not about complexity, just more about that big bass note, letting it sustain, which basically means you're letting the note ring out as long as possible, and then hitting it again like. And you can mute it, you know, you can do. Some harmonics if you want to get really fancy with it, which is basically you just gently touch the string and pick. You can kind of hear that higher pitched note there, but it's not too complex. Pretty much anybody can play it. Go pick up a cheap bass amp. That's what I'm using. I got my $25 bass amp. I picked this up for like $100. It is a nicer bass, but it don't have to be a nicer bass. Just really any bass. Any bass with one low E string. That's all you're going to need for any of these pop songs. I promise you, it's not that hard. Any idiot can figure it out. It's you just plug it in, and we're just hitting the open E. And you can't really go wrong with 1 to 7. That's about as high as you want to go. You don't want to go much higher because then it kind of starts to sound funky. You get something like this. But then if you want to get really fancy here, what we do is we turn down the bass a little, turn down the volume, turn up the treble end, turn up the tone on here. You can max out the volume, leave it as fine, but then you can get something interesting like. not much of a bass player. I am an okay guitar player, do a lot of rhythm stuff, not a whole lot of solo-y stuff, but basically all of that stuff that I was just playing there, that's what you want to avoid. You don't want to get into any of the kind of fancy rock riffs, you know, you don't want to get to the Nirvana stuff, you know. Don't want to do any of that. So, I mean, basically you're going to be focusing on this guy right here. And that's kind of if you want to get more melodic with it, you know, do some sort of kind of like movie scene cover. But that's basically the gist of it. Get yourself a bass, no matter what the price, cheapest you can get, perfectly fine. Get yourself a low E string, only one you're going to need, and do that. And that's all you need to know about writing pop songs with bass in them, because that's all it is. And now I got too much tone on there, so that's not going to sound good with WAP at this point in time. But it is what it is. Thank you for watching. This is Gray's Guitars. My name is Steve Gray. Have a good one.